So I think it's very safe to say at this point that when you talk about 2023 Nintendo Switch games, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is absolutely the biggest title that many fans are anticipating for release this year. And while we haven't gotten a big blowout media showcase of everything this game has to offer, there is now a massive leak circulating online revealing multiple different characters, gameplay mechanics, things that have not yet been officially revealed or discussed by Nintendo. And I will not be spoiling anything for you guys in this video. We may discuss one very brief spoiler towards the end. I will warn you ahead of time, but you do have to now be on the lookout for real information circulating from this game online, and we have to break down and go over all the exact details right now. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. Now, as I mentioned, guys, today we are discussing the massive leak that hit Zelda Tears of the Kingdom late Sunday evening on February 19th. The collector's edition art book has been leaked in its entirety online. You can find these images out there fairly easily. I will not be showcasing any of them in the video, as one, we really don't know how Nintendo will handle this situation when it comes to a copyright DMCA type perspective, but then two, I really didn't want to be spoiled around a lot of the mechanics and some of the things that were shown off in this art book. I did look at roughly half of the leaked images, and I think you can argue that nothing is so groundbreaking that it spoils anything in terms of major story plots or even a for sure solid direction in the game. But I've very much been a fan of how Nintendo has been creating a lot of mystery with each trailer, and I'm actually somebody who doesn't need to see a 30-minute plus blowout event to kind of get more sold for this game. I'm already entirely sold and bought in, so I want to personally keep the information at a minimum. Outside of some core mechanics, I want to know what to expect in terms of traditional dungeons returning or not. It definitely looks like they will be, but this has to be a big red flag situation for Nintendo right now, and I'm pretty sure whoever actually chose to post all of these images, unfortunately, will have their employment terminated without a second thought. It's just one of those scenarios you don't go against Nintendo in stuff like this, because we really have seen an interesting marketing buildup for this game from Nintendo. We don't know very much about it in total, other than those few trailers that we've gotten released over the last few years, with multiple Nintendo Direct presentations being the way that they showcased it. And while we got definitely the deepest look at the game so far in the most recent trailer, that still wasn't a whole lot to go off of, considering the game will be out May 12th. We're talking about 2.5 to 3 months away. We still don't have a whole lot of concrete information around this game and the gameplay loop to expect with the sky traversal, the land traversal, and even the underground sections. So Nintendo is keeping their cards very close to their chest with this, and I actually am not one that expects there to be a blowout presentation, a Zelda-focused Nintendo Direct. I don't think Nintendo actually feels like that is necessary for how big this game has become, how all the anticipation around the sequel to Breath of the Wild, which obviously propelled Zelda as a franchise to brand new heights that it had never seen before. I think Nintendo kind of knows that since they've told us it's in the same Hyrule, they've told us that the adventure takes place in the skies above and the grounds below, and I think they largely view that as enough to get most people on board with picking up this thing day one, albeit at a $70 retail price, the first ever first-party Nintendo published game that will be sold at that $70 retail. That is big news in and of itself. Another leak that hit the internet around this thing that I'm sure Nintendo is not happy about is the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom themed OLED Switch, because we saw symbols on that were not yet revealed to us, and then the most recent trailer confirmed it. So that's all the proof in the world I need. It even looks like this thing could be going live for pre-orders, or maybe a launch date, most likely pre-orders, or it may change on March 10th in GameStop system. So there has been no shortage of leaks recently around Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and just make sure this video serves you as a warning to avoid spoilers online if you are somebody who really wants to go into this thing with only footage that Nintendo has showed off so far, because that ship has now sailed. And we are also going to have to talk about at some point in time, I'm sure one thing that will happen with this game, as we see it happen with just about every major Nintendo Switch game release, is that retail copies get out in the wild early, they get dumped online, and people are posting the ending segments of the game. You will likely see people sharing around major story cutscenes online. You will have to dodge all of that stuff if you really want to go into this with a blind playthrough, although I don't think we have to worry about those full story spoilers hitting the internet until something more like a week and a half to 2 weeks before the game's release, because that's oftentimes when we see those retail copies pop up. The one portion of this leak that I just want to spend a very brief amount of time on, and this is a warning to anybody in the video that doesn't want to stick around for any kind of spoiler whatsoever, you will want to click off now. Thank you for watching. Anybody who is still here now, we will be talking about what I found to be very interesting from this leak, which is the amount of different costumes that Link has supported. But the big one that stuck out to me was the bird mask and glider suit costume. What are we going to be doing with that? That definitely seems like we may be traversing the skies above at a much broader scale than maybe I was even prepared for. I knew we had sky vehicles that were going to take us through and fly us to various different islands, but now I'm thinking, well, not only can we get up to those islands, we might be able to see fortresses way off in the distance and glide all the way there. And maybe it's something where you can catch an updraft of wind and actually fly upward or propel yourself way further in the skies than you originally thought. Like, we haven't seen any of that in a trailer yet, and as soon as I saw that suit on Link, all these questions started rushing through my mind on how are they going to implement this at a gameplay level. There is also talk and speculation based off of this art book leak that maybe shrines are not a big central focus in the game whatsoever anymore, and maybe we are truly headed back to that more traditional dungeon type of gameplay loop. And if that is the case, if we get a open world Zelda connected in the skies above, the ground below, and even the dungeons beneath that underground, plus maybe we have sky dungeons and just them all spread out throughout Hyrule, and we get the best of both worlds with a open world Zelda but some traditional dungeons throughout, I personally cannot even convey to you guys just how much that will excite me for this future iteration of open world Zelda. That is absolutely what I want. I think if executed properly, it can propel this open world formula to even higher heights and be better received by fans, if you can imagine that, than even what Breath of the Wild was. I truly think Nintendo is finishing up a masterpiece as we speak. It is unfortunate, however, that all of this leaked information is being discussed online ahead of Nintendo's official plans to reveal it, but I still find it fascinating that this game has so much more depth that we don't know about, and it is just a reminder to be hyped for the date of May 12th, 2023, when we all ultimately get to experience this game and talk about it online together. I cannot wait. But I definitely want to hear from you guys at this point in the video, all your personal thoughts and opinions around the leaks. Try to keep it to a minimum in terms of just outright saying straight up spoilers, but clearly the comment sections on videos like this are going to run wild. People will just have to understand that that is part of the risk that you run when you talk about anything now with this massive leak hitting. But definitely share with me what you thought of the book, if you looked at it at all. If you're avoiding it, tell me how you're avoiding it online. And if you did see it, how do you think that Nintendo actually implements that bird style glider suit? Do you think that we are flying through the sky at a much broader scale than we thought? Does this excite you more or less for the game now that we have all these images circulating? And bonus question, share with me if we do in fact see that OLED Tears of the Kingdom model released, whether or not you're planning on picking that up when it goes up for pre-orders, presumably within the next month or two. So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you all in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around this topic. Go watch yesterday's video next if you haven't already, which is on screen right now. Also make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.